Hello everyone, so today we're going to be going over the 2023 Paper 1 Edexcel Business Studies paper. I would say grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, make some notes as we're going to be going over some model answers, including a 112 marker, 2 9 markers, a couple of 6 and a couple of 3s. So let's get into it. Which one of the following could market mapping be used for? Now, as we know, market mapping is used to identify customer needs and wants. However, market mapping may also be used to spot where there is a gap in the market. So C is correct. Part B. Which one of the following is an impact of a decrease in interest rates? Now, I know interest rates usually confuse people a lot, so I'm going to quickly explain it to you just underneath. So, if our interest rates are decreasing, so let's say I have an interest rate of 5%, and it's decreased, and before it was 10%. This decrease means that customers will be able to borrow more money. Now, the reason why is because, let's say I wanted to borrow £1,000 and I had to pay an interest of 5%. That means I will be able to borrow more money because I have to pay less interest afterwards. So part C is correct. Explain one advantage of starting a business as a private limited company. This is a classic question. I'm going to go with the basic one. I'm going to say one advantage is that the owners Now, if you remember what limited liability is when you are able to invest into a business, but you are not expecting your personal possessions to be taken away from you. So you have that security. So that's my point. One advantage is that owners would have limited liability. So what does this mean? This means that only what the owners invest into the business is what they're responsible for. Therefore, their personal possessions are not at risk of being taken away. That's a lovely 3 marker. Explain one way the internet may affect where a small business chooses to locate. Oh, so we could talk about e-commerce, which is basically online selling. So I would probably say that the business, so I would say one way. So I said that one way is that the business may choose to purchase a cheaper location. This is because they can use e-commerce, therefore they can save on costs. And if you really wanted to add another point, you could say this may lead to them reaching break even sooner. Which two of the following are examples of customer needs? Well, we should know that customer needs are always price, quality, convenience, and choice. So the correct answer, well, it is A and C, of course, because they match this. So a customer need is something which the customer uses in order to make a decision of their purchase. Are they really going to be thinking about risk? Risk is usually what the business itself will think about. Are they going to think about profit? No. The performance of the business does not affect the customers, and taxation as well. So the correct answer is A and C. Which one of the following are roles of an entrepreneur? Again, you should know that it is organizing resources, taking risk, and making informed business decisions. And as we can see, it's B and C. We know, B and D. We know it is not to be a sole trader, as there are many types of businesses. There's sole traders, there's partnerships, there's LTDs, PLCs. Personal satisfaction is a aim or objective, and going to university is not a requirement. The next question is a calculation question. So it says that, so what you would need to do is we would have to go back to the break-even formula. So we know that break-even is equal to the fixed cost over the selling price minus the variable cost. So what I would do is I would put this into the formula. So we know that our fixed cost is £10,000 over we've got 6.5, that's our new selling price, minus our variable cost, which is always going to stay the same, 2.5, and that gives us 2,500 units. But now it says calculate the decrease in the break-even level of output. So we just simply do 4,000, because it says here, minus 2,500, and that will give us 1,500. There, easy 2 marks. On to the next question. Ignore this little part here. It's in the document and I cannot seem to remove it, no matter how hard I try. So I'm just going to have to leave that there. But our next question is, explain why one way a small business could become more competitive. This is a really nice, easy question. Of course, you could go down the simple route of saying using lower costs, or you could say using higher quality products. I'm going to go down the route of higher quality products, as I think lower costs are quite easy to talk about. We could say that one way is that the business could improve the quality of their products. By doing so, let's say you go into, River Island, and you've noticed that the clothing quality has significantly improved. This is obviously going to attract you. It's going to make you happy. So this is because this would satisfy customer needs. This means that customers believe they are getting a higher quality product, and so will most likely return to the business for a repeat purchase. Good. Okay, next question. Explain one advantage to a small business of meeting its legal obligations. So for this one, it's a very broad question because it does not mention consumers or it does not mention employees. So I would personally go down the employees route, as I find that much more easier. So I'm going to bullet point this one. So I would say one advantage is that employees will feel secure. And why will employees feel secure? Employees feel secure because they are receiving their minimum wage. They are safe through the national health one. There's also a discrimination act as well. So they're feeling safe and secure and happy because the business is following the legal obligations. This means that the employees will then feel more motivated, and obviously with a motivated workforce, this leads to an increase in productivity. And you can see this if you go into a store and you see that the employees are happy and they're motivated. This makes you happy as a customer as well. Next question. Which one of the following could a small business use to add value? Now, adding value is the difference between the price of making the product and the price it is sold for. So the one which adds the most value is locating into a convenient place. I'll quickly explain. Using a long-term source of finance, that does not really affect the customer. This does not affect the customer, and neither does this. This will affect the customer. The customer believes that you are like close to them and everything. Therefore, A is the correct answer. We've got another calculation question. Figure 1 shows the number of units sold per month by business from February to April. The selling price was £5.20. Using the information, calculate the revenue for March. Okay. What we can do is we do 5.2 multiplied by 7,200. We're doing the selling price multiplied by the unit to get our total revenue. So I'm just going to quickly write the formula. So we're doing it for March, and as I saw, it was 5.2 multiplied by 7,200, and the final answer is 37,440 pounds. Explain one disadvantage to which a small business of not paying its employees on time. Ooh, good question. Let's imagine you work, I don't know, in KFC, and your manager's been saying for the past 2 to 3 weeks that your pay is delayed. This is ultimately going to make you want to leave the business, because obviously you're not getting your money and you're just frustrated. This means, this may lead to them having to find new employees because you've left. And as a result, this increases recruitment costs, which is already a problem because the business isn't even, doing their job properly, as they're not even paying its employees on time. So they're just adding more costs. Next question. Explain one advantage to a small business from making profit as a source of finance. One thing I would say is that it is a cheap source of finance. My next point would be that the reason why it is cheap is because there is no interest. And as there is no interest, this means that the business won't experience any increase in costs. Because as we know, if the business had gone to a bank loan and they had decided to take £10,000 from the bank, after a year or two they'd have to pay an interest of 5%, and that would increase costs, whereas with retained profit you do not increase costs. On to the final question of section A, a lovely 6 marker. Discuss the impact on a small business from adapting existing products to develop new business ideas. So as it says the impact, you can decide whether you do 1 advantage, 1 disadvantage, 2 advantages and 2 disadvantages. One benefit to adapting existing products to develop new business ideas is that you simply reduce costs. Why is that? This is because it takes less time to generate new creative ideas. Why is that? Let's say I have a soda company, I don't know, like Coca-Cola. If they want to adapt the existing Coca-Cola can, they don't really need to do much. All they need to do is simply change their packaging or change the material of the can or something like that. They can change the design, I don't know, but they don't need to do much. So yeah, and as it takes less time to generate new creative ideas, this means that they can quickly bring the product into the market. One disadvantage or one drawback of adapting existing products is that it may simply not meet customer needs and wants. As we know that some products may not be of use despite no matter how much you try to change it. So let's say you adapt your existing product, it may not meet customer needs and want. This means that you've only increased your costs and you've basically wasted your money. This means that you may not make profit quick. Now we're on to section B, and I thought let's read the case study together. So, for our case study, we've got Amelia Cooper, trained as a plumber 6 years ago. So what I'm doing right now is I'm highlighting any possible links. Now, I think in some schools they call links as context, but it's basically the same thing. So, Amelia Cooper trained as a plumber 6 years ago. Since then, she has worked for a building company that carries out repairs to houses and businesses premises in the Birmingham area. Amelia is now in position where she wants to start her own plumbing business called Lily Heating Ltd. Even though there are many plumbers in the Birmingham area, Amelia feels that she has a USP. She is a woman. Many female customers feel that they can relate more closely with a woman during doing repairs in their houses. As part of her business plan, Amelia has identified some clear aims and objectives and conducted a large amount of market research using the internet. She's done secondary research there. Her target market requires clear advice on what work needs to be done and how much she will charge. Amelia also thinks she can cut down on advertising costs by getting her customers to recommend Lily Heating Ltd to their friends and family. For this to happen, she knows that her work must be of the highest standard. Her business plan also includes a wide range of financial information to help her forecast the potential success of the business and see if she would need an overdraft. I would say take a screenshot of this as we're going to be using it for our section B questions. Outline one way that financial information in a business plan could help the business. So, for this question, I would say the last sentence of the extract was beautiful. It was like the summary of it. So I'm going to say one way is that it would help her, and if we remember, if you look at section D, it says forecast the potential and see if she would need an overdraft. That's all you need for 2 marks. And make sure, because we're in section B, you must use the extract to get the full 2 marks. Analyze the impact of non-financial aims on Amelia's decision to start Lily Heating Ltd. This 6 marker is a little tricky, so I'm going to quickly go over it. So one point we could say is she would want, one impact is that she will gain independence. This is because she's going to be her own boss and carry out her own decisions, organize her own resources, and make her own informed business decisions. So this means she no longer needs to do repairs for someone else, as it does say in the extract. She has worked for a building company that carries out repairs to houses and businesses' premises, and she's been doing that for 6 years. And another point I would say is the fact that she's chosen to locate in Birmingham, as the competition is always high, as it says in the extract. This might be a driving force for Amelia to put more work, to put more effort, to take up the challenge. And as she's determined, as there's only a few female plumbers in the area or in total. So that was a tricky 6 marker. Next, we've got a finance question. So it says, calculate the closing balance at the end of the month. So we know that the formula is the inflow minus outflow plus opening, as we are asked to work out the net cash flow. So the 8,600 minus 11,000 plus our opening balance is 4,000, and that gives us an answer of 1,600. Using the information calculated to DP, the percentage of people in the age group 45 to 49 that are female. Let us have a look. So from 45 to 49, so all we're going to simply do is look here. That's quite easy. So our total number of females, and the total is 66,700. Multiply this by 100, and that gives us an answer of 50.52%. Analyze the impact of using the internet to collect secondary market research. If we remember, secondary research is where you just use the internet, use someone else's stuff. So I would say one impact to Amelia Cooper, who is the owner of Lily Heating Ltd, that is a link, is that secondary market research is quick and cheap. This is because if Amelia, who trained as a plumber 6 years, uses the internet, she will instantly find data to use. With this, the Birmingham-based business are able to save time and can use this time to improve their service and train staff. That's one. However, one disadvantage is that secondary research is not accurate plus reliable, as the plumber has conducted a large amount of market research on the internet. That is a link, as it is in the section B extract. She will have to ensure that the research found is from a reliable and trusted website, and that it is up to date. If not, then she will have to conduct field research instead, and that ultimately adds to costs. Because now, after doing all of that secondary research, she has to go back and do primary. That's adding costs. Next. State one element of the marketing mix other than price for Lily Heating Ltd. We can say her promotion methods, to attract female customers. Remember, marketing mix is price, product, place, and promotion. Outline one reason why the government would want Lily Heating Ltd to be successful. So I'm going to write this out. One reason is because they would want remember, the government will receive money due to corporate tax. Sorry if you can hear my laptop's fan, it's warming up. This means that the government will be able to take more profit from Amelia's success. I'm going to type up the 9 marker. So, in order to make the business more successful, Lily Heating Ltd is considering 2 options. Option 1, offer a discounted price to female customers, or number 2, use social media to promote the business. I think we're going to go for option 2, as I think option 1, I can say, I don't, it's a bit difficult. So I would always say in the exam, always choose the one which you are more comfortable with. Amelia Cooper should choose option 2 over option 1. Why should Amelia Cooper choose option 2 over option 1? So for a 9 marker, you start off by saying this, you add a link, and then you go into the benefit and the drawback to using your option, and in the conclusion I'll explain when it comes. So, one benefit to option 2 is that it costs little money to promote on social media on apps like TikTok or Instagram. By the way, if you mention another business or another service such as TikTok or Instagram, this is a link, this is context. So this gives you marks. This is a benefit as the Birmingham-based business will not need to spend a lot of money. Obviously, as we know, social media is cheap. I could literally post on Instagram that I'm launching a new product and that wouldn't cost me a lot of money, would it? I've stated about 2 points for that. I'm going to add in another benefit because I can't really think of more ways to add. Another benefit to Amelia. And why is that a benefit? Think about it. I'm launching a product. This means that everyone can see it. Everyone is aware of my product, of my service. People who, maybe in the Birmingham area, maybe people who don't live in London, we've got East London, we've got North London, we've got West London. If I promote my business in North London, not everyone in the East or the West or the South are going to know. So by using social media, I can let everyone know in London, yes, I've got this business. So, is that because this is accessible to everyone, there is a high chance that she will attract more customers in Birmingham who will require her service. That is my advantage for Amelia. Option 2 is that it will increase her advertising costs. Amelia, if we look back into the extract, Amelia's initial aim was to ask customers to recommend Lily Heating. She didn't actually want to spend much. She was hoping that it would just come about. Uses social media, she will have to obviously pay for the advertising costs. Now, the conclusion. If you would like a grade 8 or 9, or even a grade 7, what do you need to do in your conclusion? So you need to say, to conclude, I'll write it, to conclude, I still believe option 2 is better than option 1. Now what you do is you say a disadvantage to the other option, the option you did not pick. So the disadvantage to option 1 for me in this case. Although she has her USP, which is that she is a woman, agreement and arguments between male customers. Because obviously her business is very focused towards women. Male customers may feel like, hey, if she's doing such an excellent job, why can't we earn this privilege as well. Because of this, these customers may not recommend her business to families and friends. Then you're going to say that your option, my option, doesn't have this problem. This is where the G7 plus comes in. You're going to say, however, my option depends upon. So for this instance, I would say, and there, that is a 9 marker. Done. It's not that difficult. It shouldn't be too bad in the exam. But yeah, that is a 9 marker. Okay guys, now we're on to section C. Let's read the case study. Ripple is an energy company aimed at providing green and renewable energy to homes and businesses across the UK. It is the country's first consumer-owned wind farm, generating green energy that does not have a damaging effect on the environment. Instead of customers paying Ripple to supply them with energy, they become members of the business and buy a part of the wind farm located in a remote area of South Wales. Customers are then supplied with energy to their homes based on the amount of energy they invested. The amount of money that customers can invest varies on their energy needs. Okay, it claims that it can supply energy cheaper than its customers. The process of becoming a member is very simple. Ripple will ask customers a few questions. It will then create an energy plan. That's interesting. Ripple's business plan fits in with the UK's government's cleaner energy strategy. This includes plans for the country to have net zero carbon emissions and to create that many new jobs. Okay, nice case study. States one example of a risk for an investor in Ripple. So I will say one risk is that the investor may not receive constant money, or like stably, and this is because the amount of money that Ripple receives depends on how much customers invest on their energy needs. So this may change every single. A quick note, please do not write in bullet points in your real exam. I've only done this to just quickly jot down my ideas. Declined, okay, this increased, so not gas. Not renewables has this increased. Nuclear did decrease, okay. Coal also decreased, and oil remained the same. Now it says which one had declined the most. So if we use a calculator, if I do 19.5 minus 17.3, I get 2.2. But if I do 5 minus 2.2, I will get 2.8. So therefore, coal is the correct answer, as it has the greater decline in energy. Outline one benefit to customers from Ripple asking questions to identify its customer needs. One benefit to the customers is that the green energy plan is created for them. This way, the customers will only be asked to pay the money for the amount of energy used that they want to use. There. That is my 2 marks. Option 1 is that we can reduce the tax paid by small businesses, or option 2 is provide free training if businesses recruit new employees. Which one of the following would have the greatest impact for the success? Let's have a think. I would say, for me, so again, we're going to start off with a link. The energy company who aims to provide green and renewable energy to homes should choose option 2 over 1. I like option 2. I think option 1, it's a little hard. I always like to go for the easier one. Obviously, don't stress yourself. Don't do the hard one. So one benefit to option 2 is that the UK-based business, and a link, will not need to spend money on training. This is because as they're being provided with free training, the cost to train employees will be 0. Okay, this is a bit of waffle, but I think for business you kind of have to make sure your point is explicitly clear, otherwise examiners are going to be like, oh, what do you mean, what is going to be 0, what is going to be 0? Will be 0. With this extra money that they have saved, they are able to use it to buy more wind farms as the business's customer base grows. Furthermore, my option also supports the country's plan to create 220,000 new jobs in the green energy sector of the economy, and that is my advantage. Nice and easy. One disadvantage is that it may be difficult for Ripple, who are the country's first consumer-owned wind farm, to recruit new employees if employment levels are high. So for this, I'm thinking of going a different route. So if employment levels are high, Ripple will need to increase their employee wages in order to attract them to work in the energy I'm going to write this down and then explain it to you. One disadvantage is that it may be difficult for Ripple, who are the country's first consumer-owned wind farm, to recruit new employees. If so, Ripple will need to increase their employees' wages in order to attract them to work in the energy company. As a result of this, their total costs will increase, so Ripple, who don't have a damaging effect on the environment, will need to up their green energy plan prices. But this is also a disadvantage, as this won't allow them to supply cheaper energy than its competitors anymore. So to conclude, again, I was typing. Option 2 is better than option 1. So now my disadvantage for option 1 is that in option 1, if the corporate tax is what the government takes, by the way, from businesses. If the corporate tax decreases, then the government will receive less money from businesses, and so they may not be able to follow their plan to have net zero carbon emissions by 2050. my option however, my option depends upon whether Ripple are willing. This is a bit tough because obviously anyone would be willing to take on free training. I'm going to say that it depends upon whether Ripple are willing to take the risk of employment levels being high. There we go. So that is our 9